Hi, my name's Walter Montero. I'm a real estate and mortgage agent here in Cambridge, Ontario, and I've had the privilege of serving our community since 1987. Over the years, I've met some great people here in our community in many different businesses and walks of life. Some, of course, are well known, and others are some of the best kept secrets in town. So the purpose of this podcast is to share and introduce them to you. Welcome to the I Love Cambridge podcast. Now, Ravi, your company's called the Mech Lab.
Yeah. Play on mechanical laboratory.
Yeah, so a little play on words there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Very good, very good. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
So I'm a mechanical engineering specialist. I'm pretty heavily involved in robotics at this point in my career, in my lifetime. I started building little fighting robots as a teenager, age of 12 or 13, ages
Yeah,
ago because I thought it was fun, and that kind of saw me through to find my way through the world of engineering and seek a career in robotics, and so on and so forth. And year after year, I kept building bigger and bigger robots and taking them to different events around the world. And just recently I realized that everything we do with these robots that we build is they're all custom parts. We're looking for 3 or 4 parts. If I need a weapon hub or a motor mount, it's only 4 or 5 of them I need. And because of that, I have amassed a huge network of these manufacturers that are just making high quality custom parts.
yep.
And just recently decided, you know what? A lot of people come to me asking for information or background knowledge on where to get custom parts made. So we took that index, took that network of partners, and we're building a sort of a smart network for manufacturing right here in the Waterloo region.
Great. Okay, so now some of the research I did online here, I saw you with these battle bots, so to speak. And so are you doing something with them other than just recreational?
Yeah, so it started off as a hobby, and it's certainly become
Yep.
more of a sort of a semi-profession, I guess, at this point. So there's a sort of a underground circuit, just like you would have with hockey or soccer. There's different leagues where people build these robots at home. They self-design, they build them themselves, and then compete around the world. We have a local one here in Waterloo region. But if you're lucky enough and skilled enough, I suppose, you can apply to one of the TV shows. So the big one in Canada or North America is Battlebots on Discovery Channel.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm fortunate enough to run one of the Canadian teams for that TV show. We run 2 robots. We did Lycan a number of years ago, and we do Red Devil now, which is sort of a saw-based robot. Now we build these things. They're about 250 pounds each. They cost upwards of maybe close to $50,000 for a competition set. Take them to
Wow.
California for 2 to 3 weeks, fight on in front of the cameras, and uh, the winner takes home a giant nut. It's like this big, weighs 300 pounds, and they get a cash prize and all the fame and glory they could ever want.
Very good. Very. Now these competitors, they come from all over the world, do they?
All over the world, yeah. It's a pretty international roster.
Yep.
The last season they filmed just recently, that's on air now on Discovery Channel. It's a little bit smaller due to the global restrictions, but typically we have teams from North America, Brazil, Canada, the UK. We have teams as far out as China, India. Um, I think there was somebody even supposed to come from a small Polynesian island this year that
Oh, you're
obviously
kidding.
couldn't make it out. So the reach is very far.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now let me ask you, how did you get started in this?
When I was a kid, I saw the show on TV. It was like the first run, early 2000s, and I
Yep.
thought it was super cool. I really wanted to get involved with it. So there was a small local event in Toronto. They were fighting, it's very small, 1 pound to 3 pound robots, which are like, the size of a hamburger, not very big. And,
Yep.
little kid, convinced my parents to take me to one of these. We watched it in person, and I started taking apart like toasters and RC cars and stuff like that to build these little robots. And it really just snowballed from there to become a hobby that I really enjoyed. And it just kept building and building until, you know, 4 years ago we applied to be on the TV show, my team and I, and we got through. And we've been competitors ever since. We went as far as to Shanghai last year. Sorry, 2019. We went to Shanghai to fight robots on a TV show that airs on Chinese networks.
Very interesting. Now you mentioned a team. Tell us a little bit about them and how big your team is and how they participate along with you.
Indeed, our team is generally made up of about 5 individuals. We have builders who have been part of the robotics community for a little while. so they know sort of the ins and outs of this particular sport, and they know the nuances of it. Our team consists of people who are in the engineering field, our teachers, tradespeople. We even have a farmer who jumps in from time to time.
Oh,
But
very.
typically, we have a competition set of 5 individuals who go down to California with us to fight as part of the team, all in charge of keeping the robots and machinery operational, exacting repairs, and that sort of thing. Our build team locally can consist of more individuals since we try to tap into our community to try and get some assistance when we need it. And I think at this point, it's the type of community and sport where everybody just is happy to help out.
Yep.
Yep.
Very good. So now you had mentioned that these things cost upwards to about 50 grand
Yeah.
uh, to
Uh,
build. And I've seen some of these battles. Some of them are left in pretty rough shape. What are you able to salvage any of that after these events are over?
that is the interesting part. So, yeah, they're expensive. They're like new car to used car expensive, no
Yeah,
doubt
yeah,
about that. Your team really needs to be on point to try and salvage as much as they can.
yeah,
Um, we usually go to the event with 2 to 3 robots worth of parts. So we'll build one fully built, fully kitted, and have completely replaceable, interchangeable parts to go into there. Most of the time, if you design it correctly, your most expensive components are hidden deep within.
yeah,
So your $900 gearboxes are hopefully safe from a bulk of the damage. And if it's
yeah.
just sheet metal and steel that got broken, a grinder and a welder hopefully can get you operational again. But it
Sure.
is not unheard of for teams to just completely scrap old robots and build them up again, brand new for another season.
Wow. Now that's interesting. Now, is there any particular sort of execution that seems to be popular? This is the definite kill in terms of being able to win a competition.
Totally. I mean, the rules are pretty simple. You either completely incapacitate your opponent, or
Yep.
it goes to the judges. And you never want to go to a judge decision because you're not sure how the 3 judges are going to or weigh the match.
Yeah. There's
Typically, they'll
five.
go for damage and they'll go for aggression and driving. But the best way to kill your opponent is utilizing a weapon system that we call a kinetic spinner. So you take a pretty big piece of metal and you spin it really, really fast, and then you hit something else with it. So it's pretty much like hitting when you impact another opponent. It's like hitting them with a deer slug. It imparts a huge amount of energy onto the opponent. It's not a saw blade; it's a blunt object, but it's like
Yep.
swinging a sledgehammer at a million miles a minute. It's going to
Wow.
do some
Wow.
damage.
Incredible. Very good. Now, do you have any? How are these things funded? You guys just fund them yourselves, and there you go on the prize money, or are there sponsors, or how does that play out?
It's a little bit of everything. So we definitely do have some sponsors, and we
Yep.
couldn't do it without our locally found sponsors. Some are machine shops, some are electronic shops. We have a robotics company under our belt as well. Now, most of it is covered by sort of the builders themselves. Um,
Yep.
the very lucky teams get all of their funds paid by from sponsor funding, but that is
Yep.
a rarity considering. The prize money helps, but it gets less and less every year, unfortunately, because the network squeezes the show for more and more. So it's really just a labor of love, if you would put it that way. The
Yep.
sponsors help offset our costs and our builds, but you have to be really into it. Nobody's doing this for a profit, which is
Sure.
unfortunate to
Sure.
hear.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you can get a toy deal, and the toy deals help offset the cost considerably as well.
So what are the winnings like? What are these winnings like?
So it changes every year, kind of depends on the funding available from the network, but generally speaking, you're looking at $100 or so per win, with a grand
Yep.
prize of around $60,000 or so US.
Okay. Did you say 6,000 or 60?
60, 6,000.
6,000. I got it. Okay.
Or
Good.
sorry, 60,000. No, you got me
60,
confused.
60.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Okay, very good. So it can be worth it for sure if you win that the big grand prize.
you can be. You'll end up having to beat out around 60 robots or so to get there, though. It's a
And,
hard
and
fight.
that's all in that same tournament.
All in that same tournament. You have 2 weeks.
Wow, very
So
interesting.
it's a
Very
very
interesting.
hard 2 weeks. We're often on set for about 16 hours doing it.
Yeah. Now, is there a reigning world champion right now that seems to have the title or?
It's been up in the air. The previous world champion was a robot called Bite Force, which was out of California. They
Okay,
won, I think, 3 championships.
okay,
The other one is Tombstone. Unfortunately, Bite Force didn't return this season because of the pandemic, and I
Yep.
believe Tombstone is having a terrible year so far. They're not doing very well. So we're in all likelihood going to see a brand new tournament champion this year. The show is still on air, so we don't know who
Yep.
won, but
Yep.
yeah, we'll see. Unfortunately, we
Very
haven't won our championship yet, but we're hoping 2021 is the year for us.
good. Good for you. So, is there now? Do you deal with robots outside of this particular uh, sort of field, like outside
Yep.
of being recreational?
Yeah, definitely. I also have a profession in robotics. So currently, I'm working with Avidbots Corp, which is a company in Kitchener, Ontario,
Okay.
and we build absolutely massive autonomous floor cleaning robots and scrubbing robots. So I like to say they're a little bit smaller than a smart car, but they are fully autonomous robotics, and they are distributed across the world, fully
Yep.
autonomous, and they scrub floors and clean floors. So we have them in airports across the world, Pearson Airport. We have some in shopping malls like the Eaton Center in Lime Ridge, but we also have units in universities and schools and even factories all across the world, actually.
Awesome. Very cool. Awesome. Okay. Very good. Well, I mean, that sounds like a very fun hobby. That's for sure. I don't know if I'd even call it a hobby. It's almost a labor of love, isn't it?
It certainly is. I think it stopped being a hobby for me about 5 years ago when we got the call from Discovery, because then it's
Yeah.
real. Then you have to like get tax information set up and shell
Yes.
corporations and all that stuff to actually make it happen because we're doing this internationally and there's there is some transfer of funds and stuff involved and um, it's a pretty big deal. Our sponsors really help us out. So we have, if I could, we have Dem Tool, which is a metal fabrication, laser cutting, welding, and powder coating shop in just in Kitchener. They
Yep.
do a lot of our machining and they do all of our fabrication for us, and they're fantastic. We have Neutron Electronics in Guelph. They're our electronic supplier. They've been fantastic, really, especially with COVID, helping us get some stuff happening. We have Avidbots Corporation as well. They're a robotics company locally, so we saw a lot of synergy with them. And we have Garage Smart Technology, which is in actually Utah, Nevada, but they are our big supporter of our team as well.
Very good. And any big upcoming event that you're looking forward to right now?
We were building a brand new robot in March. We were planning to fly out at the end of March and fight in April. So that was our plan last year, but the pandemic hit. Everything got thrown for a
Yeah.
big whack. So we actually got locked out of our workshop too. We really haven't been able to access our robot recently
I see. I see. Yeah.
because of it. So we were building it at a workshop in Kitchener.
Yeah.
However, we're we're slowly getting access to our robot. It's a robot with two claws, so it grabs the other guy and it's got a big saw. So just kind of the
Oh,
whole
very
plan is
cool.
to just cut the guy in half. And it actually works surprisingly well because nobody knows how to fight that thing. It's a very uncommon setup. Now that we're slowly getting access to our robot again, we're hoping to finish the build, get it tested, get it created, and if all the stars align, we'll be flying out to compete later this year in California again. It films in
Good.
Los Angeles.
Yep.
I'm just really hoping we can make that happen. The pandemic's been kind of tricky, obviously travel and dealing with the team that's distributed sort of across Ontario at this point. Everyone's kind of scattered to the winds. We're hoping we
Sure.
can kind of pull this together and make it happen. So that's our big one. I had really wanted to go back to Shanghai as well to compete
Yep. Yep.
because that's a really fun thing to do. I don't I don't think that's going to happen. Um, I can't possibly fathom making my way to Shanghai at this point with
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the restrictions in
Sure.
place. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's our big thing. So we also have a local competition called Bot Brawl that we run in Southern Ontario. So we do a lot of events in Kitchener, Cambridge, and then we do some in Toronto and stuff like that. I'm hoping we can get back to that. We're kind of on hiatus indefinitely until things cool down. But if it's ever something you wanted to check out, we did some events at the Cambridge Arts Festival that was right downtown on Dixon.
Oh, yes. Okay. Very good.
So it's a local thing. A lot of people can kind of hopefully we can get back to doing that.
Good. And somebody can find information on that through the Cambridge Arts Festival website or through yours or
The best place to go for finding out information would be botbrawl.ca,
okay.
botbrawl.ca. I don't know if they have. I haven't been on the website recently, so I can't say with any certainty that they have our information there.
Okay, perfect. And do you have a website or anything that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, we're spinning up the Mech Lab, which is the mechlab.ca,
Okay.
mechlab.ca. And we're building a smart manufacturing network here in Waterloo region. So, if you're out there and you're listening to us, and you either have a manufacturing business and you're a fabricator, welder, laser cutter, machinist, and you're looking to join a network of smart manufacturers, drop us a line. We have a small curation process where we'll do maybe a quick virtual tour of your shop, take a look at some of your quality processes, and then once approved, we can put you in our Rolodex, as it were. So we send work out to our network as our customers need it, so we fill your dead space and your capacity. And if you're a company that's looking to get some custom manufacturing done, I know it's really hard when your developers and your engineers just need 2 or 3 parts for prototyping. Purchasing teams are used to buying hundreds of parts. We specialize in the
Yep.
small, low quality runs. So you send us the
Yep.
parts, we send it across the network, and we find you the right fit for the right price, and we make things happen. So
Awesome.
it's something that's really big in the States, but it's something we're lacking desperately here locally in the Waterloo region. But we have so many
Right.
amazing manufacturers here, so I think
Yes.
I
Sure.
think it's something we can make work.
Awesome. Very good. Well, that's been great. Great interview. Is there any question that I didn't ask you that I should have?
No, I think that's it. Do you have anything more? Like, I know you're in real estate,
Yes, I'm a
obviously.
real estate mortgage. Yeah, this is more of a labor of love for me. I mean, I've served the community now for about 34 years. So, I meet a lot of interesting people. I actually saw your profile on LinkedIn, and it really caught my eye, and I thought I'd reach out to you. And I really appreciate that you came onto the show.
Yeah, no, thanks for reaching out. That's really cool. And maybe we'll have to talk in a little bit. There's something else I'm trying to start or do on the side is I used to be in the heavy industry as well. I used to work in heavy industry before I decided that robotics was the true passion and path for my career. So, and
Yeah,
working in heavy industry, I'm talking about metal casting and steelworks. And I see technology emerging in such a way where we can utilize 3D printing to combat, or not combat, but to compete with the traditional metal casting industry.
yeah,
Where, I think I alluded to this earlier, but I see a small manufacturing space like in downtown Cambridge, for instance,
yeah,
as the space gentrifies, where it would be light industrial. You set up a couple 3D printers in the base, storefront of a shop or something somewhere, and suddenly you have a small local outfit that's able to compete with relatively larger metal casting facilities, with none of the pollution, none of the dirt, none of the debris, but it brings a different level of skilled technicians and job to that area, while also turning in space that would be left. I don't know what would be into that space, but as from a real estate point of view, I think it takes the industry and manufacturing that you would need big, wide open, spaces in more rural parts of a city,
yeah.
and you can take that high margin, high profit, skilled trades and bring it a little bit closer to the city and take advantage of these smaller areas that are less attractive, right? Usually in these kind of semi-industrial spaces, you get maybe less desirable outfits, or they're lost leader businesses, so you're just kind of floating above water as a real estate um, owner of that property.
Yeah.
And I think it's an opportunity to transform those types of spaces and transform those types of communities into you know very what I call smart manufacturing, where you're producing clean parts at high quality, um, in a very adaptable way.
Well, that's great. Well, hopefully some of this information will fall on the right ears for you, and you can make a connection.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Awesome.
No
Ravi,
more.
thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Walter. I appreciate that.
Okay, you have a great enjoy the rest of your family day weekend.
I certainly will. Bye now.
Thank you.